My brother has always been the kind of person who tells the worst jokes, not just corny dad jokes, but the kind that make people uncomfortable. He has this habit of making inappropriate, almost embarrassing jokes, like the kind you'd expect from a weird uncle at a family gathering who doesn't know when to stop. His favorite targets are usually his own wife, Lucy, and sometimes other family members, but he says them with such confidence, convinced he's the funniest person in the room. Most of us, including me, don't find his jokes funny at all. In fact, they usually leave us squirming in our seats, exchanging glances, and hoping the moment will pass. But somehow, there are always a few people who find his jokes hilarious and laugh along with him, which only fuels his behavior. The reason I'm mentioning all this is because the way my brother jokes, his insensitivity, and the way he treats Lucy in public led to her having a complete emotional breakdown in front of everyone. This happened during our cousin's birthday celebration, a gathering where his jokes were absolutely not welcome. The whole family was there, chatting, eating, and just enjoying the occasion. My brother and Lucy were there too. Lucy, who is currently pregnant, has been through so much to get to this point. She and my brother had been trying to have a baby for 3 long years. In that time, she suffered 2 heartbreaking miscarriages, experiences that left her deeply wounded. After the second one, they almost gave up entirely on the idea of having children. It was too painful to keep hoping, only to have their dreams shattered again and again. But against all odds, Lucy got pregnant again. This baby was their little miracle, the child they thought they would never have. You'd think that given everything they'd been through, my brother would be more sensitive and understanding of what Lucy needed emotionally. But that night at the party, it became painfully obvious that he wasn't. It all led to a moment of discomfort and upset provoked by my brother. At the party, my brother was in full bragging mode, standing in front of everyone and talking about how it was finally his time to become a father. He was beaming, acting like he'd achieved some great accomplishment, as if it was all about him. Some of the other men in the family started playfully teasing him, telling him that fatherhood would change his life. They told him to enjoy his freedom while he could, because once the baby arrived, he wouldn't have any time for himself. They made the usual comments about sleepless nights, dirty diapers, and how children take over everything. It was all in good fun until one of my uncles went a step too far. With a mocking smile, my uncle looked at my brother and said, "How did you even manage to get your wife pregnant? I thought your sperm was bad." The moment those words came out of his mouth, laughter erupted in the room. People laughed heartily while I just sat there shaking my head because it hadn't only been a struggle for Lucy, but for my brother too. But my brother didn't see it that way. Instead of shutting down the joke, or at least ignoring it with some dignity, my brother grinned and decided to add fuel to the fire. "Well," he said, laughing, "I guess it still works. Or who knows, maybe she got pregnant by a stranger. I mean, look at her. Who wouldn't want a piece of that?" Then he let out a loud, open laugh, completely oblivious to how disgusting his comment was. Some of the other men laughed along with him, clearly enjoying the moment, but I felt sick as I looked back at Lucy, and that's when I noticed it. Her face was pale. This wasn't new. I knew this was how my brother always treated Lucy. No, he wasn't physically abusive, he never hit her or anything like that. But the way he talked to her, the way he made her the constant target of his jokes, was always cruel. With his words, every joke, every comment was always at her expense. He never made fun of himself, never mocked anyone else the same way he did with her. For a long time, I never understood how she put up with it. Maybe she'd just gotten used to it. Maybe she told herself it wasn't worth making a scene. But tonight, this night was different. This wasn't just a casual joke. It was disgusting. And my brother wasn't finished. He said something even worse, believe it or not. "Honestly," he said, laughing, "I would have happily let any man sleep with my wife if it meant I could have had an heir sooner. What the hell was wrong with him?" I wasn't the only one who was shocked. Some people also had that look of being uncomfortable and disgusted. But before anyone could say anything, he continued, "But I guess I got lucky. I have such a passive wife, always under control, and she only wants me, so I don't have anything to worry about." That was the moment Lucy finally exploded, the moment the missile launch button was pushed. She said to him, "Oh, you think I'm a passive wife? You really think you got me pregnant? Please, you couldn't get me pregnant in all these years, and now all of a sudden you think it was all thanks to you?" We fell silent because we weren't used to seeing Lucy defend herself. My brother's face lost all its color. His smug smile disappeared instantly as everyone turned to look at Lucy in amazement. But that was enough to shut him up. But if my brother had so much to say, Lucy wasn't finished. "I'm sick of this. I'm tired of your disgusting jokes, of you treating me like I'm nothing more than your personal entertainment. I'm fed up." She was crying, but she didn't stop. "I can't keep doing this. I can't continue staying with a loser like you, and honestly, I've already been planning to leave you, so I guess I should do it right now. I don't know where all my brother's arrogance and confidence went, because it had vanished in a matter of seconds. He just replied, "What? What are you talking about?" Stuttering. Lucy looked him straight in the eye. "I've been having an affair for months. I've been sleeping with my coworker. I'm in love with that man, and the baby I'm carrying isn't yours. It's his. He's the father." My brother stood completely still. He looked horrified, but Lucy didn't stop there. She acknowledged that she knew very well that what she had done was completely wrong, and she acknowledged that it wasn't the right time or place to reveal something like that, but she also made it clear that she couldn't go on living the way she had been. It was like she was kicking him while he was down because she kept telling him a few truths. Imagine having to deal with his disgusting and perverted jokes every day, having to sit here while my own husband humiliated me in front of his family for years, having to pretend that it didn't bother me. I spent years trying to laugh it off, trying to act like I was okay, but I'm not. It never was. Lucy then told him that she wanted to leave him, that she no longer wanted to be his wife, and that all she wanted from him was a divorce. Nothing else. No money, no support, just freedom from him. Then, without saying another word, Lucy grabbed her purse and walked out of the party while we all stood there in absolute silence. Since that night, my brother has been staying with me because he refuses to go back home. He's a mess. The same man who always used to joke and make inappropriate comments with a smug smile, acting like nothing in the world could affect him, has been reduced to someone completely unrecognizable. At this point, I feel somewhat bad for him, but not because he's the victim, he's not, but because the way, the place, and everything Lucy did must have hurt. Still, I think he deserves it. He's been crying nonstop. The problem is that now he keeps insisting that I should go talk to Lucy on his behalf, convince her to come back or at least apologize to him. He actually thinks that as his sister, it's my duty to defend him and make her see the error of her ways. He acts like Lucy just lost her mind out of nowhere, like she threw their marriage away without thinking about the consequences of leaving him. But I feel that for so long, he acted like Lucy was just a supporting character in his life, someone who existed for him to make fun of, to joke about, to take for granted. I've seen everything. I know the truth. But now that she's gone, now that she's left him in the most public and humiliating way possible, he's finally realized what he had. He thinks that out of the whole family, Lucy listens to me the most. So he's been telling me over and over that if anyone can bring her to her senses, it's me. But what he really means is that he sees me as a tool to clean up his mess, someone who can do the work for him so that he doesn't have to face Lucy himself. He doesn't want to apologize. He doesn't want to own up to his behavior. So, am I the bad guy if I don't do it? Update 1. First of all, my parents and the rest of the family don't bother Lucy at all. In fact, we all love her. But my brother has always been unnecessarily cruel to her. And even when we've tried to talk to him about it in the past, he never paid attention to our words. Some people have asked, and since some of you actually feel sorry for my brother, let me make this clear. I understand that from the outside, it may seem like he's just a heartbroken man who was betrayed in the worst way. But before you rush to his defense, here are some examples of what my brother has done to Lucy over the years. Every time we've had a family gathering, my brother always made Lucy the target of his jokes. Once, during a big Christmas dinner, he joked that Lucy only married him because she couldn't find anyone better. He said it with a smile and added, "Well, let's be real, honey, you're a gold digger." The room filled with awkward laughter, and Lucy just stood there, forcing a stiff smile while she waited for them to change the subject. That day, I remember telling my brother that what he said was wrong, but I could see that Lucy wanted the matter to be over, so I brought it up again later that night in another room and in private. The irony of it all is that during that time, my brother was unemployed. He didn't have a job, no income, nothing to contribute financially. Lucy, on the other hand, was the one who was keeping them afloat. And yet, despite all that, he still had the audacity to belittle her, to make jokes at her expense, as if she was somehow beneath him. Lucy had gone through 2 devastating miscarriages. Anyone with a little empathy would have been sensitive to that, but not my brother. Instead, he turned it into a joke more than once. He made sarcastic comments about how her body just couldn't hold a baby or how she was defective. He even joked in front of friends that she was probably poorly built as a woman because she couldn't carry a pregnancy to term. My brother has always seemed to think that Lucy is some kind of trophy that he can talk about however he wants. He always tells people how obedient she is, calling her a good housewife while making a snapping gesture and pretending that she would run to him every time he called her. Can you imagine that? Once, a friend of his jokingly asked Lucy, "How do you put up with him?" Instead of letting her answer, my brother interrupted and said, "Oh, she doesn't think, that's why it's easy to control her." His friends laughed. Lucy didn't. These are just some of the examples I remember. Sure, but I know there are many more. This wasn't a one-time thing. It wasn't just a bad joke or a bad day. It was years of being disrespected, belittled, and treated like a joke in front of everyone. It wasn't surprising that she finally got tired of it. The only surprising thing is that she put up with it for so long, because that turned her into a ticking time bomb. Besides, just to be clear, Lucy wasn't completely silent all these years. She did try to defend herself. She did try to tell my brother on multiple occasions that his words hurt her. But my brother never took her seriously. If she got upset, he always said, "Oh, come on, don't be so sensitive." If she asked him to stop making certain jokes, he said, "Relax, it's just funny. Everyone else is laughing, why can't you?" And if she ever tried to have a real conversation about how his behavior made her feel, he ignored her and accused her of exaggerating. So I guess over time, she just stopped trying with him. The truth is, I love my brother, but I don't blame Lucy for leaving him either. I'm not in favor of infidelity, but if you endure that for years, you must somehow release the pressure. The healthy thing would have been to leave him sooner, but it's not my marriage here. I've seen the way my brother has treated her over the years. What I do believe is that I'm not going to intervene. This is my brother's problem, and if he's funny enough to make jokes, he should be adult enough to go talk to her. Update 2. It's been a week since my last update. After much indecision, I finally met with Lucy. My brother had been pressuring me to talk to her, to somehow convince her to apologize to him, but I wasn't meeting with her for him. I was doing it for Lucy, to talk to her about the matter. I needed to hear her side of things, to understand why everything happened the way it did. When we sat down to talk, Lucy didn't try to defend her actions or justify what she did. Instead, she apologized immediately, not for leaving my brother, but for the way she did it. She admitted that what she did was wrong, that it was cruel to reveal the affair in front of everyone like that, and that she felt terrible for hurting my brother, no matter how he had treated her. She wasn't proud of it. She simply said that she had reached her limit and that she didn't know any other way to make him see what he had done to her all those years. Lucy also made it clear that she was serious about leaving him. There was no turning back. She told me that she was moving in with the other man and that he had even been helping her pack her things. She said it with a calm certainty, as if she had already mourned the end of her marriage long before that night at the party. I had to ask the question that had been running through my head. Why now? Why wait until you were pregnant to finally leave my brother? Why not leave sooner? And that's when Lucy broke down in tears. She admitted that she had been afraid. As much as my brother humiliated her, as much as he treated her like a joke, they had been together for so long that walking away didn't seem like an option. For a long time, she told me, she hadn't had the courage to tell him yet. But at the party, when my brother was standing there making disgusting and degrading jokes about her and her child in front of everyone, she knew that she couldn't keep doing this. She knew that she couldn't bring a baby into that kind of environment. And that moment reinforced what she had already been feeling deep down, and she finally had the courage to act accordingly. Before we said goodbye, Lucy told me that no matter what happened with the divorce, she still wanted me to be in her life and in the baby's life. She said that despite everything, she cared about our relationship and didn't want to lose it. I was honest with her. I told her that I couldn't promise her anything at this point. This is too big for a decision right now. Lucy nodded, wiping away her tears, and told me that she understood. She didn't insist. In general, we ended our conversation on good terms. Update 3. Since Lucy left him, my brother has been spiraling completely out of control. It's like he doesn't know how to function without her. And instead of dealing with his emotions in a healthy way, he's self-destructing. At first, he was staying with me, but after a while, he moved out, probably because he realized that I wasn't going to keep coddling him. But just because he's no longer living under my roof doesn't mean I'm not still dealing with the mess he's creating. He's been drinking excessively to the point that it's becoming a serious problem. Almost every night he's at some bar getting drunk, picking fights with strangers, and because I'm his emergency contact, I'm the one who keeps getting calls for him. I can't even count how many times bartenders have called me telling me that my brother is too drunk to stand or that he's causing a scene and they need someone to get him out of there before they kick him out. And if it's not a bartender who's calling me, it's a hospital. There have been multiple occasions when he's ended up passed out from drinking too much or vomiting so badly that someone had to call emergency services. He's completely reckless. And, as if drinking excessively wasn't enough, he's also gotten into gambling. I don't even know when it started, but at this point, it's clear that he's addicted. Every month, without fail, he comes to me asking for money. He always makes up excuses, saying that he's going through a bad time, that he needs help to get ahead, and that he just needs a little family support to get through this difficult stage. But I know where that money is going. I know it's not to pay rent or bills. It goes straight to the nearest casino or online betting sites where he spends it all trying to win big. And when I refuse to give him money, he loses it. He starts yelling about how I'm supposed to be there for him. No matter how much I try to help, he refuses to really help himself. I've been really worried about my brother. His drinking, his gambling, his reckless behavior, it's all getting worse and I don't know how to help him anymore. I knew that I couldn't keep dealing with this alone, so I talked to the rest of the family, and together we decided to do an intervention. We thought that if we all sat down with him and showed him how much he was hurting himself and those around him, maybe, just maybe, he would realize it and accept that he needed help. But it didn't go well at all. The moment we tried to talk to him, he became defensive. He refused to accept that he had any real problems and kept minimizing everything as if it was just a bad breakup. He acted like what was happening was completely normal, as if it was just part of his healing process and that we were all exaggerating. He insisted that he was fine, that he was just letting off steam, and that we should stop acting like he was a lost cause. It was frustrating because no matter how much we tried to explain to him that his behavior was dangerous and that he was putting himself at serious risk, he simply didn't listen. Things got heated quickly. We all argued with him, trying to make him see what he was doing to himself, but he didn't care. He didn't want to listen to us. He just got angry, shouted about how we were all attacking him, and eventually stormed out. It seemed like all our efforts, all our concern, simply bounced off him. After that, I had to make a really difficult decision. I decided to distance myself from him for a while. Not because I don't care, but because I can no longer keep doing this. I can't keep sacrificing my own well-being for someone who refuses to help himself. Update 4. It's been a few months since my last update, and I wish I had better news, but things have only gotten much worse. My brother has been arrested for attempting to kidnap Lucy's baby. Yes, you read that right. He actually tried to take her newborn from the hospital. Apparently, Lucy has already given birth, and from what I've been told, my brother somehow managed to sneak into the hospital. He pretended to be her brother in order to access her room. I have no idea how he managed to do it. Maybe he lied to some nurse. Maybe he found a way to bypass the visitor restrictions. Maybe he just got lucky. But the fact that he was so desperate as to impersonate a family member is already disturbing on its own. Once he was inside Lucy's room, he saw her there lying asleep, exhausted from childbirth. I don't know where the baby's father was, but my brother, seeing no adults present, decided to try to leave the hospital with the baby. I don't understand at all what he was thinking. Fortunately, a nurse saw him trying to leave and immediately intervened. She noticed that something wasn't right. Maybe it was the way he was acting, but whatever it was, she refused to let him go. And when she questioned him, he started to get nervous. And that's when he woke up Lucy. The moment Lucy saw what was happening, she completely lost control. She started screaming at my brother, demanding to know what the hell he was doing. I can only imagine how terrifying that moment must have been for her, waking up in the hospital still recovering from childbirth, only to see her ex-husband trying to take her child. The hospital staff immediately called security and then the police. But instead of realizing that he had been caught, instead of backing down and accepting the reality of what he was doing, my brother completely lost his mind. He started shouting, making a scene, yelling at everyone that the baby rightfully belonged to him. He kept repeating over and over that he didn't care about paternity, that it didn't matter whose DNA the baby had. He said that he was the one who was supposed to be the father, that he was the one who was supposed to raise the child. At this moment, I don't know what's going to happen. My brother has been arrested and I don't know how serious the charges against him will be. But I do know one thing. He needs help. Not just an intervention, not just support from the family. He needs serious and professional psychological help. The problem is that few people want to give it to him. I have no words to describe how disturbing this is. This is not just being reckless or irresponsible or making bad decisions. This is not simply drinking too much or spending his money on bets. This is something much worse. This is criminal and dangerous. It's no longer a joke. It's an act of stupidity, plain and simple. Update 5. It has been 2 months since my last update. My brother has officially been sentenced after his arrest for attempting to kidnap Lucy's baby. Given the gravity of his actions, the legal process proceeded more quickly than I had anticipated. The court did not take his actions lightly. He was charged with attempted kidnapping and harassment. Despite my parents hiring a very good attorney to assist him, there was no real way to defend what he had done. He was caught red-handed, and both Lucy and the hospital staff and security testified against him. There was no room for doubt. He appeared to have planned to take the baby, and the court saw it for what it truly was. The judge sentenced him to spend time in jail. In addition, Lucy filed a restraining order against him. He is now legally prohibited from approaching her or the baby. He cannot call her or even send her a text message. If he violates that order in any way, he will get into even more serious trouble. After everything that had happened, I finally decided to reach out to Lucy on my own. I apologized to her on behalf of my brother. I told her how deeply sorry I was for everything she had gone through, for the way my brother had treated her all those years, and for the nightmare he had made her live through in the hospital. She told me that she was seriously affected by everything that had happened, and that she now plans to leave the city completely. The restraining order has given her some peace of mind, but she still cannot shake off the fear that my brother might try something again once he is released. She doesn't want to take any risks. So Lucy and the father of her child are leaving for a place where they can have a fresh start, a place where my brother cannot find them, a place where she doesn't have to live with the fear of running into him ever again. She's already making the necessary arrangements, packing, looking for jobs elsewhere, and finalizing everything she needs to move forward. I told her that I understood her decision and that I did not blame her for wanting to get as far away as possible. She is finally free of him, and maybe, just maybe, that is the only good thing that has come out of this whole nightmare. Update 6. I thought you guys were getting bored with my story, but after I stopped posting, I got private messages wanting to know more, and while I've answered some of them, I think making one more post with what I think have been the most asked questions is the best thing to do. Many have asked me if there was a possibility that Lucy's son was my brother's, and the truth is, there was a possibility, but it has been ruled out with a DNA test. My brother demanded it as an opportunity to be in that child's life. Who has dodged a bullet, if you ask me? And the result has been negative. Lucy is happily moved to wherever she is, since although I still talk to her from time to time, I don't know exactly where she has moved. No, we are not friends. But I have worried about her after she was part of the family for so long. My brother still wonders where she is, but he doesn't know that I am in contact with her, and he doesn't know where she has moved either. I think it's better that way. The best thing is for him to stay away from all this. Enough time has passed for my brother to get out of prison, so for his own good, it is better that he stays away. I know he has been trying to find out her whereabouts, which would only make things worse, but from what I know, there are not many people who know. My relationship with my brother and part of the family is completely broken. He only has some relationship with my parents, but only because they have not given up on him and believe that the best thing is for him to go to therapy to get his life back. I have talked to them about the issue to make this update more complete, and they have told me that he refuses to do it. According to my brother, this would be solved if Lucy returned to his life, but that's the problem. It's not his son and she's not going to return, so the best thing would be for him to leave everything behind. And if he hasn't been able to figure it out until now, I don't think he can do it. It seems like Lucy is in some kind of witness protection program, and it wouldn't be that far from reality.